Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be talking about Poliwrath. I never thought I'd see the day that we would dedicate a whole video to Poliwrath, okay? Well, here's the thing, guys. It just top cut the Joinville Regionals, okay? And for good reason, and it makes a lot of sense if you do really think about it, because right now, Poliwrath is another fighting type, and these fighting types are on the rise as of late because you need something for the Archaludon matchups, there's Tera Steel Goldengos, the Kingambits that are running around. So Poliwrath is yet again another niche Pokemon that when you put on the right team, it can actually do the job. So we're going to take a look at the regional team that did well, and then we'll also look at one other team where you can also consider Poliwrath. But at the end of the day, what I really wanted to do is actually just highlight it because it does do quite a bit into a lot of the meta given the moveset that was on that regional team. But first of all, you know, you're looking at it, right? Water fighting typing. Who's the other water fighting typing that we've all known throughout the years in VGC? That was Urshifu, right? And we haven't really had that replacement since, but we have we have had other water fighting types. So we've had already the Paldean Tauros, which is another good solid water fighting type that is somewhat relevant in the meta right now, especially on those Clefable Volcarona teams. Then you've also had the other niche water fighting type in Quaquaval, and again, all three of these guys, they're going to give you something different depending on how you want to use them. But at the end of the day, just comparing raw stats, Poliwrath 90 HP, 95 defense, 90 speed F. So it's actually, the bulk is not bad, all things considered. The speed is obviously really lacking, but you can compensate that because of this ability called Swift Swim, obviously. So you're going to put this on a Pelipper team, okay? So that's already a given. And then now you can outspeed the entire format because, your speed is doubled in the rain. So speed is not going to be an issue for Poliwrath, and bulk is not bad either. You do have to watch out for stuff like Rillaboom, of course, and then other flying type coverage, stuff like Talonflame, another Pelipper, for example. So those are all things you have to watch out for, but again, you do have 5 other slots that you can use. The Tauros is in the same boat, but again, 110 attack, so a lot more attack than the Poliwrath. The bulk 105, a little bit more defense, and it's 70 speed F, so a little bit less speed F, but again, base 100 speed. But here's the thing, you don't get Swift Swim, but you do have Intimidate. So there again, if you value Intimidate and you already have a good fire type, that's not Incineroar, then you can put Intimidate, with the Tauros. So this also makes sense. Then you have Quaquaval here with Moxie. So now originally he can't outspeed any of these guys, but it does have Aqua Step, which again allows you to outspeed opponents by +1. And then if you pick up a KO, now you can pick a, get an attack boost. So now Quaquaval is also, kicking. And we have seen this already on the Archaludon raid team. I think Blake Silver did this, so shout outs to Blake. So same idea, right? If you just take out Quaquaval and just put in the Poliwrath, you get another dimension added to your squad, just with the Swift Swim, and then you already don't need the Aqua Step because this takes time to ramp up, right? But Poliwrath doesn't need time. You can just already throw it into the rain and it just outspeeds everything. Now, because it does have the lowest attack stat of all three, you're going to have to use like a Choice Band or even a Life Orb. But even Life Orb just misses out on Chaos. I think you have to go the band here, and that's exactly what the player did. It was Luciano Begot that was able to do this. So we'll showcase his team in a second. But just in terms of moveset, again, you're going to have Liquidation here. Unfortunately, this does not get Wave Crash. So that's unfortunate there. But you do also get Close Combat, which is, of course, fine. You are a fighting type. And then you get Ice Punch. And that is important here because if I remember, does Quaquaval get Ice Punch? It does not, right? You do get Ice Spinner. But Ice Punch is important because think about all the dragons that are running around now. You've got, the double dragon cores of like Garchomp and Dragonite. Then you even have Dragapult running around. So Ice Punch looks really good into all of those things. And then this last move can like be some other coverage move here. Now they opted for Haze, and I understand it, of course, because you still want something for your Dondozo matchup. They did also have the Amoongus on the team, so you can still technically, find a 4th move over here and then just run Clear Smog on the Amoongus, but then you give up Protect, or you have to give up Pollen Puff. But to each their own, right? So, if I had to put another move slot here, I have seen a little bit of a rise in some of those Grimmsnarl teams. So you could even just slap on Brick Break here just to break those screens, if anything. Otherwise, you can find something else over here. You can even put Drain Punch for that matter. Like we've seen this before. What else does this thing get? Yeah, I mean, high horsepower. You can have like the niche ground coverage move if you really want to. So there's a couple options at the end of the day. You can even do Poison Jab if you really wanted to against the Primarina or Rillaboom stuff. But you also have Ice Punch for Rillaboom too. So, you know, there's some options here, but they opted to go for Haze. So we'll keep it as Haze. And again, the one thing that Poliwrath does give you that these guys can't is, of course, you do have Swift Swim. All right, so now let's take a look at Luciano's team. And then what we're going to do is we'll just assign EVs ourselves. I don't think they make the rental public. And then we'll test it out. And let's see if Poliwrath does, in fact, give me some decent value on a team like this. All right, so this was the team from Luciano from the Joinville Regionals. Again, 6-3 result, top 16. So congratulations to them. Again, you get a decent amount of CP for that result. But look at this. It also features the double Dragon Core of Garchomp and Archaludon. And I really like this double Dragon Core. You can also do like Garchomp Dragonite stuff. But we'll speak about double dragons in like another future video, which I think either is next or after our rental teams. But that's besides the point. So look at this. You still have standard stuff with, you know, Pelipper, Archaludon, Amoongus over here. Then you have Kingambit, which again gives you a decent size span matchup. And, you know, Kingambit is just super strong right now, especially against Goldengo stuff. And then, like I said, Garchomp, Archaludon ideas. Again, you can just click Earthquake on your own Archaludon, go Tera Grass, give yourself a +1 defense boost, and then just go for body presses even after that, right? So you still have this, and because you are Life Orb and this is Choice Band, you kind of want to intimidate these guys, but then you have the Kingambit here, and then now all of a sudden Defiant is on the team, and you don't really want to, because then the Kingambit gets a boost, and then if this is protected by Amoongus, then it's gonna be hard to reach, and then at the same time, you're a Steel type on a Rain team, so you're already removing your Fire weakness. So all you really have to worry about is fighting and also ground. And you have ground pivots, you know, with the Pelipper, for example. And then you can always just Tera out of that, you know, just go Tera Dark here and then just have, you know, good Sucker Punch pressure. Kautai Cleave is going to do so much damage here. Goggles Gambit, very underrated, by the way. You know, you can get around Amoongus, which is huge. And then you can just simply Swords Dance, right? So you still have some good Amoongus immunity to this besides having Tera Grass Archaludon, also your own Amoongus for that matter. And like I said, this Amoongus is running Protect. So you can put Clear Smog on this, but they opted to not do it and then just go for Haze over here, which is still like totally fine. Dondozo usage is at an all-time low right now. And not all-time, but like is really low in terms of where it once was back in the beginning of Regulation H. So, you know, as expected, because so many people are just bringing coverage into that, you know, with Haze or Clear Smog stuff. And at the same time, you know, just people are just not really using it right now. So Haze is still like pretty niche and this is still like affordable. You're never really clicking something besides these other 3 moves anyway. So, you know, if you really wanted to put a 4th move here, sure, then you can just put Clear Smog on this side. But anyway, Snarl Archaludon, by the way, very good right now. Not too many people are clicking Flash Cannon right now. There's not as much fairies. So Snarl is a great tech move as of right now. You know, another good recent adaptation for Archaludon. So now you have special attack damage mitigation along with physical damage mitigation because you're getting all these defense boosts, you know, once you get your stamina proc. And then from here, you know, you still have Tailwind, you know, Pelipper for potentially your Tailwind mirrors, you know, your Amoongus and Kingambit straight into the Trick Room matchup, and then just having Poliwrath outpace everything, you know, even with or without your Tailwind is also really, really good. So I do like this team. I think it just makes a lot of sense for, you know, some of these pieces. And what we're going to do now is, you know, we'll just build the team ourselves and we'll test it out and let's see how it functions. I also wanted to highlight Poliwrath on this type of team here. This is a 2nd place team from the Spear Pillar tournament. I think it went like 9-2. So another cool idea with Poliwrath is you can still technically do like this belly drum stuff with the Citrus Berry. And then you have the redirection with the Amoongus. So now you're just hitting super hard with Liquidations and Drain Punches with Pelipper over here. You know, honestly, I really think you can just put Archaludon onto something like this and still follow this double dragon idea with Archaludon and Dragon Ball, which, by the way, still makes sense because, again, you want to click a fighting move into Archaludon, you can switch into a ghost type like Dragon Bolt, and then all of a sudden now you're in an advantage, right? So you can definitely do something like this. I don't think you need the Rillaboom and the Amoongus on a Pelipper team like this. I think you can just put one and then just add the Archaludon here. I just think it makes sense overall. So I would like to see that. But again, at the end of the day, this is still like a pretty cool team. So, you know, again, you can still do stuff like this with Poliwrath, right? It has been known to do this in previous formats, but just really wasn't that great just in terms of what else was available in terms of options. But with power creep down, you can still get away with this. So I think this is still like a niche set that you can still consider. Okay, but anyway, Lau, we'll go back to Luciano's team. We'll go ahead and build it, and let's see what we got. Okay, I won't change anything in terms of, you know, their moves, their items and stuff. All I'm really going to do is just slap on some EVs here. So Dragon Claw, Stomping Tantrum, Earthquake. So again, the 2 ground stabs and the dragon move. So let's put Jolly here. Again, I just want to be like the fastest chomp possible, make it come down to a mirror. Garchomp is rising in usage a little bit, so makes a lot of sense. Archaludon here. So here's what we're going to do with Archaludon. We have a new calc. So the fact that this has Tailwind, you know, tells me something. But what we can do now, because Sneasler is so popular, we can do this investment, okay? Guess what we're going to calc for? We're going to calc for the Close Combat Sneasler, okay? So the calc is this, 244 HP and about 124 defense. And what's really good about this is I get to keep my even number, you know, for my +1 body press stuff. So I like that a lot. We'll have just enough speed, 107. So this way, under Tailwind, we get to outspeed the Dragapult. And then we can still hit the bump here. In special attack stat, the modest nature idea, so 116 investment there, and then just have 12 points in special defense, and technically you can even have one, just leave it at 1 point here, and then just outpace other 107s that want to do the same thing. So this way you get to keep your even number for the assault vest. So I think this is still like pretty good. And again, if you don't know what EV bumps are and you're trying to play competitive Pokemon and you're new to it, and you're still trying to get the hang of creating EV spreads, make sure you comment in the video below, what are EV bumps? I will respond to you, I will reply to you. But we made a whole video on this, so if you want to go back a couple weeks into the channel, find my what are EV bumps video, give that a go. We go through a couple examples, but if not, reply to the comment section and I will respond to you. All right, but anyway, we hit the second bump there in Modest Nature. And again, this investment survives the Adamant Sneasler Close Combat, okay? Then we'll go into the Amoongus here. So I just want to go Relaxed Nature. And I have seen Bold. Bold is also totally fine, but I still want like a physically defensive Amoongus because threats like Talonflame, Brave Bird are a thing. So I just want to survive that. So I think this is the investment here with 196. Okay, so I'm breaking my optimization rule and just going for that calc. And then just dumping the rest into special defense like this, right? Then the Poliwrath here. So just like Archaludon, I also want to outspeed the Dragapult. So all I really need is 107. And this is pretty good because at the end of the day, this is 107, this is 108. I don't speed tie my own mons. I get to know who goes first in terms of the speed interactions, which is important, right? And because Poliwrath's damage is just not as great, you know, even with the band, it's still like, okay, it's respectable now, but you still want to max it. So just go 252. Obviously, we're going to go Adamant. And then after this, you just put 1 point in the bulk stat and then just dump the rest into HP like this, right? And that's pretty much it for our Poliwrath set. You know, very simple spread here. Then the Pelipper, it is a sash, so you can just go 252, 252. You can go Modest Nature here, but I'm just going to go Timid, you know, and just in case of like Pelipper speed mirrors for that matter. Kingambit, again, same thing over here. We do have a Goggles set over here, so I'm still going to go Adamant Nature here. But I'm just going to go about 28 investment, just a little bit, right? And technically, I can go about 1 point more, you know, just to outspeed, you know, the Modest Gambit under Tailwind. And then after that, just go, you know, max HP here, 1 point in the bulk stat, okay? And then just literally dump the rest into attack like this, right? And that's really all I want. And this 36 investment, this is good in, like, potential speed mirrors, even, like, against Ursaluna. You get to find out who's faster and, you know, with or without the Trick Room stuff idea. So, you know, some information there. But again, I think a little bit of investment is still like, okay. After this, yeah, again, so like, this is it. This is all we want. You know, something just to test it out and jump onto the ladder with. But again, this is Luciano's team. All we did is just slap on our own EV spreads here. So now what we're going to do, we're going to try it out. And let's see if we can bring Poliwrath through any of our games. All right, so here's another double dragon core with Sneasler here, right? So Talonflame, Chomp, Dragonite, there is a Sneasler here, and then of course you've got Goldango, Talonflame stuff at the end of the day. You still have Primarina here. You know, I question the Trick Room matchup on that team, but again, still like very, very aggressive. So I still like Poliwrath into something like this, right? Because you have the Ice Punch coverage into Dragonite and the Garchomp. We have the speed advantage if we can get in our Pelipper. Which also does decently into the Talonflame and the Sneasler at the end of the day. And from here, you know, you still have strong water damage and even strong, close combats if you have to, if the Goldango does Tera, right? So I kind of want to just lead it and see where we go from there, and then Archaludon can come in and take advantage once the Pelipper has set its Tailwind or set its Rain already. So that's how I'm going to do it. So here comes Pelipper, and here is the Poliwrath. He's going to lead, as expected, the Dragonite Garchomp. This is where Ice Punch has really good value, whether he tears the Dragonite or not, or even the Garchomp. So he tears the Dragonite, which means Garchomp dies to the Ice Punch there. Okay, great job already. Poliwrath having good value. Then we get to chip the Dragonite, just in case if that was inner focus. Looks like it's AV anyway. But now here comes Talonflame, and now here comes Archaludon, right? So now we're in a good spot. He already teared the Dragonite, so we have Electroshock damage into this. So here we go, and I don't even know why I didn't even click Tailwind on his Dragonite, but we get to nuke that thing. We get a special attack boost. It's just Talonflame and something else. We still have 3 other mods. There's the Sneasler. This is where you go Tera Grass. This is where, we could show off the calc, but again, this is just safer overall. So the Sneasler gets chipped. I always double it because we know it's Sash, right? So there's the Hurricane, and here is the last point of damage. We get the free confusion, of course, but here we go. Dragon Pulse into that slot. It's just Talonflame. It's pretty much over, and he just does the forfeit. So you get to see Poliwrath. Even though we lost it, we made the favorable trade because we took out the Garchomp, which was the main big threat to the Archaludon. Yes, there was a Sneasler, but we still had Tera Grass available anyway, and him losing Garchomp was way worse than me losing the Poliwrath. Okay, this is a Grimmsnarl Screens team with Weezing. I don't know if you actually want Weezing on your team because, again, you do turn off your Prankster, but again, I still understand it. So something like Garchomp also looks pretty good here because, again, you've got Blaziken weak to ground, you got the Weezing weak to ground, and then you have the Goldango weak to ground. So you have to consider that. Yes, he does have a Rillaboom, okay, and he does have a Grimmsnarl technically, but a lot of his main offense is weak to ground. So as long as we keep that in mind and just make sure the Garchomp does what he needs to do, then we're okay. And if we force a Tera, then that's also really good as well. So what I really want to do is also just put pressure with Archaludon here, along with Garchomp. I think we can be aggressive here. And even if he brings in the Rillaboom and weakens my Earthquake damage, that means I'm not taking as much damage, with my Archaludon too. So that's good as well. So he's going to go with the Weezing. I know he wants to turn off Weather, and he's going Goldango here. So this is really good because we've got Garchomp in the lead along with Archaludon. This is very easy. So I'm going to go Grass Tera here. I outspeed everything here. He's forced to go Tera Grass Weezing. So that's already baited. So here's the Earthquake. Not as much into the Weezing, but that's fine. What I really wanted to do was just Snarl. And now that I see that the Goldango has Protect, that means he's not Choice Specs. And that's important information. And we live the Strange theme because we get to Snarl the Weezing. So we just use Dragon Claw. We pick up the Weezing from that range. We are Life Orb anyway, so I don't think it really mattered. And then now we get off the Snarl. Does very good damage into Goldango, by the way. That's very good chip. All right, it's Make It Rain. It'll chip the Garchomp and remove it, but Archaludon takes it well, especially since that Goldango was -1. Now we go into Pelipper. Now we get our Weather, right? The Weezing is gone. So now we're in a decent advantage. He has to switch into the Annihilate. Very risky, but again, doesn't matter because we get to always double that slot. We know he's switching. I'm surprised to not see Parting Shot, or even like Light Screen, but actually there was a Light Screen. So we get a crit there. That's still fine, but again, we were so ahead. Now he's just kind of cooked here because the Grimmsnarl can't really exert damage. Parting Shot doesn't really do anything. Neither does Nasty Plot because we have that Goldango was chipped so much that look at Pelipper's damage here. Even with the Light Screen, it just removes it. All right, Electro Shot again. That's it. Now it's just Grimmsnarl. Okay, and he can't really do anything there. It does Misty Train. I just wanted to lull him, with the memes and then just literally switch into the Poliwrath here. But again, this is all we really need here. The Grimmsnarl is just toying around. I get to show him the Poliwrath at least. But this is still like a straight KO from the Pelipper here. So again, Garchomp, Earthquake with Tera Grass Archaludon can still work if you have the right spot. I outspread everything that he had, so I knew I could always do it. Okay, this is essentially the mirror. So again, this is the Gambit Amoongus stuff with the Pelipper Archaludon, and then of course the Basket Legion. So again, something like Poliwrath does look good here. If he brings the instant, that's not great for it, but if we bring the Kingambit, we can kind of discourage that because at the end of the day, Poliwrath looks really good into everything here because we have the fighting coverage and we have the boosted damage in the rain and we have the speed in the rain at the same time, right? So if he wants to bring the Amoongus, we always have Ice Punch coverage for that. We have the Pelipper too, but at the end of the day, we're in a decent spot here. So here comes our Archaludon and here's Basket Legion. So that means Pelipper's in the back for sure. I'm going to lead the Poliwrath and the Gambit there, so no instant. All right, so he goes into Pelipper now. and I know he's scared, and we bait and force the Tera. That's all I needed, right? So that's still more than half. That's all I want. You know, it's in range of everything else now. So he goes Electro Shot. He does remove the Poliwrath. That's okay. The point is that I forced the Tera and I got it in range. So we chipped the Pelipper too with the Kowtow Cleave. Now we can go into our own Archaludon. Thank you for setting the rain. I'm going to go into Amoongus here. Okay, there's his Tailwind. That's fine. He goes Body Press. Of course, he wants to Body Press the Gambit. And now we can go Electro Shot. And now we can remove the Pelipper ourselves. So now we don't have to worry about him anymore. We do have to stall the Tailwind, but at the same time, it's still fine. So he protects Gambit, so that's fine. He Dracos my Amoongus, actually picks it up because, again, he was +1. So my Mushroom dies, but we get to pick up the Archaludon anyway. So now he's down 2, and now he's Basculegion, and now we have Gambit. We can always pin this with Sucker Punch because I know he's banded, and that's exactly what we do. So now he's stuck clicking Aqua Jet and nothing else, right? And once this rain expires, and that's pretty much it. So all we have to do is just chip the Kingambit and, you know, remove it. I do make the mistake, of course, by just keep clicking Sucker Punch. At this point, I should have just clicked Kowtow Cleave because the Basculegion can't click anything else because I know it's banded. So here comes the Body Press, and that's pretty much it. So now at this point, it's just Basculegion. Again, you know, just Kowtow Cleave just picks it up. And now he can't even pick up the Gambit anymore because of Sucker Punch. So this is a bit of a misplay on my part because of, you know, me not paying attention. But in that position, you just always Kowtow Cleave. You already forced the Aqua Jet, you know, with the Choice Band. So now he just can't click anything else. He can't pick up anything. And, you know, all you have to do is just click Kowtow Cleave. But still, we were ahead so much. We forced a lot of Teras. And they just didn't have any position to finish the game off. All right, again, so there's the team one more time. So we got to use all the options, right? So a couple quick test games. So overall, again, you're just going to really use that Poliwrath to be aggressive and make some trades. And then after that, you know, your stuff like Archaludon, Garchomp, Gambit, they can come in and finish the game. Or you can even just trade early on with stuff like Gambit or Garchomp and let Poliwrath be your cleaner at the end. You can definitely do that too. I like my new Archaludon set. I think that's going to be useful against a lot of Sneasler games, especially if they're adamant or not. And, you know, you already know what you're getting with Pelipper Archlaudon. So, again, Luciano, congratulations. Thank you for, you know, making a good 6. We got to feature Poliwrath because of you. So, you know, thanks again. And if you want, you can try out this team and just give it a shot just to play something on ladder. But there is a use for Poliwrath. It is, you know, more or less a C-tier mod, but the matchups that it can do well, you know, will in fact do well because you have the moves that you need and you do have Swift Swim available to you. Okay, so that's going to do it for now, folks. And again, if you're trying to go to a League Cup, if you need help building a Regulation H team for another regional coming up, and you're not sure where to go or where to start, make sure you sign up for coaching on the channel. Tier 3 sub gets you a one-on-one meeting with me via Discord. We get to build the team that you want the way you want it. You know, just like this, we get to hash out all the EVs. And then, you know, hopefully we get you back on the road to success. All right, so that's it for now, folks. Look in the video description, sign up for Tier 3, join the Discord. That's free. That's also in the video description. But yeah, we'll be back in our next video where we're going to release new rentals, 5 new rentals for the month of October. So stay tuned. Have a good one.